Okay, so what's this lunatic doing with a dryer standing in a snowstorm? Well, I got this dryer. I found it on eBay, pretty local, so you know, it's cheap and came here real quick. Anyway, I want to see if I can make a wood-burning, heated dryer. So I have my wood-burning stove here, and I'm pretty sure I got pretty good flare going. Could be a little hotter, but it's hooked up now. So the reason why I did this, probably the biggest electric consumers you have are things with electrically heated elements, hot water heaters, electric stoves, and a dryer. So you put a load of wet towels in there, it's going to dry, it's spin the meter like crazy. Have a look. So here's what my electric meter looks like. Under normal circumstances, there's a couple lights on in the house. I think the coffee maker may be on. I think the TV's off. There's really nothing going on inside the house. This is like just normal draw. Well, something just kicked on and just stopped. Okay, whatever that was. All right, so this is what it looks like with a normal activity, I should say, in my house with electrical use. There's a couple lights on. I think the coffee maker may be on, and nothing more. Maybe the furnace might be running. I'm not sure. It's really, really cold out today. So I'm going to go and put the dryer on, and we're going to see how this baby speeds up, okay? So you can hear the dryer's on now, and this little gadget here was just something I did, you know, recoup some energy use. Learned this off of somebody on YouTube. You replumb your exhaust for your dryer into a 5-gallon bucket that you drill holes around, put an adapter on, drill some holes in it. I think they're like 3/4 inch, and there's some water in the bottom. The idea of the water in the bottom is that the humidity that comes out of that pipe goes down and contacts the water, condenses there and stays in there instead of filling up the house with you know, humidity. And it does work. It also is the water in there also captures most of the lint, and if you look at it, there is some lint around the top, so it does work. And I was using this, mostly you use it in the winter time, because in the summer when it's already humid enough, the moist air does come out. There's no reason for the heat anyway, so I hook it back up to the exhaust port up there that you know, I plug up with some insulation during the winter. But I'm going to go out and take a look at the electrical meter now. We're going to see this baby flying now. Alright, look at that fly. You can see that black stripe just winging around. That's with just the dryer on. It's, you know, drawn, I don't know, I think these are 230 volt dryers. So that's, you know, pulling a lot, you know, a lot of amps and voltage. So that's flying around for whatever time you're drying clothes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. You know, you got some sopping towels. You know, I try to put it on spin cycle a second time to get more moisture out. You know, loosen up the load after it dries, spin it again, then throw it in the dryer. So you know, it'll cut the time a little bit, but it's still going to take a lot. And I mean, other than hanging them out and letting them air dry, which you can't do on a wintry freezing day, they'll just freeze. So this is why we're doing this experiment. So let's go check it out. So anyway, what I did was, you may have seen my video with the barrel stove, and I have the barrel stove right here behind me, and I made a couple different configurations of it, but basically blowing air from the building, picking it up, sending it through this. Inside here there's a pipe about that big, and it just makes a circle, a U-turn, and it comes back out and it blows into the dryer. Okay, so what I did basically is I made an intake port in the back of the dryer, right there. Just drilled I think it's a 4-inch hole saw I used. Put an adapter in from ventilation, got from the home store. So what happens now is this blower that's right here picks up outside air, and this is just temporary. I'm going to make it I can't leave the dryer outside unless I get a cover for it either, because it'll ruin the electrics inside it. But it picks up the outside air, blows it through the heating tube I made inside this barrel stove. Now, it doesn't pick up any smoke because it's not open inside there. It's just heating. It's a piece. They're steel pipes. And if you want to, I have a video on how I made this. If you want to see some of the, creation of it. But even if it had a couple pinhole leaks inside it, from maybe a guy didn't weld it perfectly and all that, it's the pressure is going to blow out of the pinhole rather than have a vacuum and pull it in. So again, then the hot air is going to turn to hot air as it blows through. It comes out this end here, blows into the back of the dryer, and then simply comes back out the normal exhaust port that you would have exiting your house. So we're testing it out now because I got the fire pretty hot, and I'd like it to be about 400, but I still got to stoke this fire up. It's heading towards 3, but it's hot enough to work now. And I put some clothes inside. Actually, they're towels because towels are hard to dry. We all know that they hold a lot of moisture. So we're going to start I'm going to put it on 70 minutes and go. So then, I did some wiring modifications inside the back. Take a look. Next thing I'm doing is I'm rewiring this so it works on 220 like it's plugged in right there. Okay. So I got it unhooked, the 3-wire plug that used to be on there. It looked like this. And this was a 220, 240, 230, whatever you want to call it. Depends on the actual voltage of what you're operating with coming into your house, but I think it's about, basically about 115 in this house per line, equaling about 230 volts approximately, give or take. So fortunately, the 2 hots go to the 2 outside connectors over here. And what I'm doing is I'm just using the 1 outside hot. Sorry for moving the camera around too much. The 1 outside hot and the common in the center, and of course grounding it. The other cool thing I'm doing is putting this heavy-duty extension cord here, and that's going down. And I found a cool spot to run it to. There's our blower discharge right there. And if that should become blocked or something like that, there's these safety switches right here that will heat up and tell your machine that says getting too hot, we got a fire danger or whatever. So I'm going to take advantage of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this extension cord I just showed you up to this side of the safety switch that is not hot right now. It gets hot when you turn the power on and the drum's turning. Okay, the idea behind that is this side over here breaks the current. If this switch sense that it's too hot, it breaks the current. This side will go cold. So I'm going to hook up my extension cord to this side and this common over here. And what's going to happen is if it does get the whole purpose of this extension cord is I'm going to plug my blower into it. I've got a blower that's going to blow the air through the barrel stove. It's going to blow it through the tube inside the barrel stove. So the hot air comes out of the other end of the barrel stove's outlet port, and that's going to come in through a port in the back of this cover that used to be here. And I'm going to drill a hole in it here, the cover, and this is where the business end, where the heating coils were. And actually the air ends up getting sucked up through there and goes through the barrel and then blows back out here. So I'm going to put my intake port here. Then the air's going to go up through there. Again, the heating element is unhooked, and it's going to go through the barrel. So in other words, if this should overheat, and the other, it'll shut that off instead of blowing that hot air from the barrel stove through it. I mean, some air will arrive just by convection, but it won't be forced in. so you know your clothes won't, you know, burn up or whatever. And the other thing is, the other reason when I'm doing this is when the machine is off, it shuts off, the timer shuts off. This line that I was telling you about earlier that I stuttered on a bit, that's going to go cold. So my blower stops as well. So in other words, if I'm inside and I forget that I'm drying clothes in this, and the blower, the timer says, you know, time's up, shut the drum down from turning, my blower is going to keep blowing if I have it plugged into another extension cord or outlet in the building. And I'm gonna start by using this thing outdoors, and you know, look like a real redneck. So again, if when the machine's done with its cycle, it's going to stop the blower, or if it overheats, it'll stop the blower. So that's the point back here, and we're going to move on now. All right, I'm about to take the clothes out, the towels and whatnot. There's about 10 minutes left. No, I think 20 minutes left, but I think it's dry enough now. What I did is, while I was waiting, I hooked up this guy, and I had this inside the building. It's a speed control switch. So I have that plugged in up here, then it plugs into the blower, which goes over there. And I just slowed the speed of the pressure that goes through the barrel stove. Slow it down a little bit so the air that goes through has more time to heat up. And it's hot. It's hot right here. Just about can't keep my hand on it. And so maybe I should even slow it down a little more. And you mess around with the temperatures. Yeah, it just got hotter actually. Yeah, definitely. Slower is hotter. So, which obviously makes sense. And so I'm about to take the clothes out, towels. See how that came out. Yep, dry. Okay, that's a bath mat. We got our quilts of some type, ugly old thing, and some towels. So it works. And I just put another load in the wash, and I'm going to come out, throw it in here when it's done while the fire is going. Do as much wash as I can. Obviously, you have to go start a fire every time you want to do this. So you want to try to schedule it as much wash at one time as you can. Thanks for watching.